Welcome to Flowers by Siobhan. This is how to make a traditional wreath easy. Hi there, my name's Ashley. Along with my wife, we run Flowers by Siobhan Florist in the UK. Today I'm going to show you how to make a traditional funeral wreath. I'm going to show you a nice, simple, easy way of doing it. I've seen a few different people showing you how to do it with different variations of foliage and stuff, but today I'm just going to make it nice and simple, basic and easy. Anybody can do this. If I can do it, you guys can do it. So first and foremost, we start off with our wreath ring. It's a foam-based wet wreath ring with a hard plastic bottom. There's another type you can buy, which is a wet foam with a hard foam on the bottom, but these are the ones that you will see mainly. These are the easiest ones to get hold of and probably the easiest ones to work with. So we've got a few different things. First and foremost, we're going to foliage it up with our pistachia, whichever way you want to say it. This is my favourite type of foliage to use for this. We have some focal flowers. It's what we call focal flowers. These are generally a more expensive type of flowers. I'm going to use a white avalanche rose. Then we have some pink lysianthus. I love using lysianthus in things. I think it gives it a nice look. It's also another expensive type of flower, but we wouldn't use it as a main focal flower as it's only got small heads, as you can see. And then I'm going to use two different colours of Gemini, just to give it a shot of colour through it. We have a spray chrysanthemum, a double chrysanthemum. This has got a nice big head on it, so it fills some spaces up as well. And then we're going to finish it off with a touch of gypsophilia. So, let's move these out of the way. And let's get started. First things first, when you're normally making an arrangement, you work from the top outwards. But on a funeral wreath, you work from the outside, covering the top, and then you work round the centre of it. So I'm going to show you how to green it up now. So first things first, we're going to take our foliage and we're going to snip it. Some people like to use knives. I like to use scissors. I find it easier. So we're just going to take our foliage, we're going to take a few snips, and like I said, we're going to work from the outside in. So this is a larger wreath because this is an actual order that will be going out for a funeral tomorrow. So we best make this right. So let's take a bit more foliage. Let's get rid of that bit. That bit's done. So basically we're just working round the edges. There's no rush with this. Let's just get the foliage in. Bit more. It's completely up to you how long you want to cut your foliage stems. I like to get a couple of inches clearance from the wreath. It's just the way I like to do it, but like I say, it's completely up to you how you do it. But I do like the look when the foliage is a few inches away from the wreath. So with this pistachia, however you like to say it, it is nice and thick, and it's also one of the cheaper foliages you can buy. So I've worked my way around the edge. And now we're going to start filling in the centre. Again, there's no rush with this. You can just take your merry time, but as you become more experienced with it, you can then start to build your speed up. And if you feel like you've placed something in the wrong place, you can always take it out and move it. That's the beauty of working with Oasis. So a few more in the top, and then we'll start to fill in the centres. Just try and not make it too gappy, but we have to leave room for the flowers, and the gypsophilia will sort out any gaps that you see. So when you're doing it, working the centres, just be careful, because it is a wreath ring and we'll try and leave a space in the centre and not make it look like a posy pad. So not too much in the centres. Try and put it in on the angle. That way we won't go too far into the centre. And there we go. That's a good start. So we're going to continue to add some more foliage in, just to make absolute sure there's enough in there. Like I say, a lot of people use different types of foliage, but there's no actual need of doing it. It's your personal preference of what you want to do. So we've added from the outside and we've worked our way in. So now we're going to add our roses, our avalanche roses. This is what, like I said, this is what we call our focal flower. So generally you work in odd numbers, 3s, 5s, 7s, but it's completely up to you. You can put as many as you want in there, 6, 8, as many as you want. I'm going to work with 5 today. So the first thing we want to do with a rose is remove the outside leaves, which is what's called barrier. So we're going to remove them, and we're going to start to add these one by one. So we'll just take a snip, it's about, I'd say, 5 inches long, and we're going to add this in just slightly above the foliage. We don't want to sit these below the foliage, because these is what I said, these are our focal flowers. So we want them to be the main attraction. We want them to be the star of the show. So let's add these in. Like I say, try and snip on the angle, like I've mentioned in other videos before. This gives it a bigger surface area, so it can soak up more water from the Oasis and they'll last a bit longer. If you put your flowers in and not remove your barriers, you can just do that gently whilst they're in, like I just did. Forgot to remove them after telling you to do so, but it's not an issue. And then I'm going to move on to my Geminis. Now, as you can see, the roses are sitting just slightly above the foliage, because like I said, they are our focal flower. Now with the Geminis, I'm just going to place them in between the roses. Just in between them. And just slightly below them. Now I'm going to add a couple in the centre, just slightly on the angle. It just gives the eye something to look at. Now we're going to move on to our Lisianthus. Lisianthus is a great flower to use for wreaths. As you can see, you get a lot of heads on it. So you get a lot more usage for your money. So I'm just snipping the heads off it. As you can see, all that off one stem. So now I'm going to start adding this in between the roses. Just again, slightly below it, as the rose is your focal flower once again. And we don't want to take away from that, we want to leave it as the star of the show. I like to use the unopened buds of the Lisianthus as well. I think it gives it a nice look. So let's use some more. If there's anything you'd like to see me making, just let me know in the comment section below. And I promise I will get round to it eventually. Unless you're asking me to make the Sistine Chapel, then it might take me a bit longer. So I'm going to work in with the Lisianthus also, around the edges. Just giving it a slight turn. Try not to reach over, because you need to see what you're doing, and also you might be pushing against the flowers that are closest to you. So we'll just turn and add. Turn and add. Don't forget about your centre also. Turn and add. Simple. And let's get the rest of them off. Don't forget to use your buds as well to give it a nice look. A nice country garden look. So we try and make use of every part of the flower. So getting in the spaces. Try not to overcrowd one part of your wreath. So there we go, I've added the Lisianthus now, so it gives it a nice texture and look. Now we're going to move on to the white double crozant. It's a bigger headed flower, so it does fill in a lot of the spaces. Like I said before, when we're putting the greenery in, don't worry about too many gaps. We'll fill in with our flowers, and then we'll go back at the end and add some more foliage. So now I'm going to use my white double. As you can see, they've got nice large heads on them. I'm going to use these. Oh, look at all them heads. Even the smaller buds as well. Let's get them off. Let's use everything on it. No wastage. And we're going to take these and we're going to fill in some gaps. And let's turn. Let's get these gaps filled in. Don't forget your centres. And I'm just basically placing them where I can see a gap. Nice and simple. So where you see a gap, you just place it. So we don't want to overcrowd one area. My wife taught me how to be a florist, and one of the things she always said to me is, always leave room for the butterflies. So there we go, we've added our crozants, it's really taking shape now. And what we're going to do is going to add some gypsophilia to it. And again, we're going for the gaps. Now the gypsophilia will give it a nice full look, but don't overdo it on the gypsophilia because it can become overpowering. There we go. A little space there, that's why you give it a turn so you can see if there's anything you've missed. And you add a touch more of the gypsophilia, and that's enough of that. I can see a space there, and there we go, and that's that. And we've knocked the gerber out, so we'll just add that back in. Always make sure your stems are pushed right into the oasis. So we're finished with the flowers, and now we're going to take the foliage and we're going to fill in the rest of the gaps. What we don't want to see is any of the oasis foam base. Any good florist will hide it. It's not hard to do, but if you don't do it, I personally think it's just being lazy. It takes an extra 2 minutes to do. So if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing right. So let's take it, let's get these gaps filled in. This is, I think, the simplest, quickest way of doing a wreath. So we're almost there. Nearly done. Not many gaps left. Just adding them. Being careful with your flowers. You can slightly move them out of the way if you have to, but just be careful with them. And I think we have a finished wreath. Just one more space there. And there we go. A traditional wreath. My name's Ashley, I own Flowers by Siobhan. If you've not already done so, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell, and you'll see all our other how-to videos. Have a great day, guys.